The Deputy Dean, Tribhuvan University Faculty of Management, Associate Professor Navaraj Adhikari. Commentator for our session, Professor Dr. Harihar Acharya, Researcher and Professor at UC. The keynote speaker for the crucial groups, Mr. Manager, Nepal, the Commander Supervisor of PhD thesis of Kathmandu University. Forward, I introduce to you Development Professor, Dr. Harihar Acharya, having over 35 years of experience in development. Welcome speech and the program highlights.
Inviting me for this very noble Dean's keynote speaker, Mr. Mahendra, respected presentators, commentators. I am really honored to welcome you all marketing research on behalf of Avant Garde and consulting firm providing services, what they look at the advertisements and their messages, and how they develop liking and disliking the messages, perceive the products and services, and finally make purchase and repurchase decisions. The seminar also addresses the influence of family and friends in this process. The seminar is expected to address the specific knowledge about the Nepali consumers' behavior generated through rigorous research endeavors in the university will be helpful to marketing professionals in real-life situations. This seminar will also address the marketing strategies and practices of Nepali organizations and highlight implications of the research findings on improving their marketing policies and practices. It is expected that the discussion will be helpful to developing mutual cooperation between the academicians and the practitioners in generating new knowledge and improving marketing performance of organizations. The seminar consists of 6 presentations by research scholars. They include effects of internet ads and attitude towards the ad, effectiveness of print advertisement practices in higher education institutions. The third one is formation of brand equity in smartphones. Fourth is effect of private label brands, PLBs, exposure on consumer behavior. Then children's consumer socialization and its effects on their purchase decisions. Finally, a probabilistic approach to measure customer defection. We hope the sharing of the research findings will be followed by discussions among participants representing practitioners from prominent businesses and academic professionals from university. I really welcome you again very warmly and wish you all success.
Today's program is going to be like. I would now like to
distinguished personalities, academics, and the participants. First of all, I would like to thank because in our therefore we see the businesses are running in post, especially in research, may be productive, and this one is the demand of the present scenario, present business world. This type of marketing research seminar may produce the ideas, the policies which are formulated by the organization, strategies, what type of strategy, what type of policies, what type of action plans helpful to our society. This one is definitely academic work. In Nepal, various academic works are performed by various organizations, but they are not bridging their academic activities with the real situation one. And there is the gap. I wish the seminar, research, seminar on marketing research, this one is the emerging and a crucial part of the business. This will produce much more benefits to our businesses, and I wish the success of this program. Thank you.
Field programs, PhD in economics from University of Colorado, and
distinguished invited guests, scholars, business personalities. Good afternoon and namaste to you all. I'm given 5 minutes of time actually, but I have so many things to say. First of all, I would like to say many thanks to organizing committee for inviting me and giving me this floor to me. And secondly, I would like to congratulate our team of researchers on behalf of KUSUM for taking this big responsibility on their shoulder. They had sleepless nights and tiresome efforts. I have seen them actually, and eventually bringing all of this one for sharing among us. So congratulations to you, and you make us very proud actually. Now let me give you some idea about the whole research process. It's a long, tedious process, and I can summarize in 5 minutes. But let me tell you what happens in the minds of researchers. First of all, you have to identify an issue that is researchable, that is meaningful, that is either contributing to theory or understanding of the situation, or problem solving or decision making for businesses. Once they have identified an issue like that, the next thing, the next hurdle is having a model. It could be a qualitative model or it could be a quantitative model. You have to put everything in that model. And model is a very complex thing. And the models are created by people who are older, who are wiser, who have wonderful exposure in the areas, who have worked for many, many years actually, and who are very good in quantitative skills or qualitative skills, and they have eventually given models. There are thousands and thousands of techniques actually. And then the challenge is you have to find a model that best suits to understanding that particular problem at hand. And imagine actually how much effort is taken by our amateur researchers, young researchers, in trying to find out the right model. It's a big hurdle. And after that one, what is the next step? You have to collect data. That's another major problem actually in our country. Data, we have two kinds of data, we know all, really. Primary source of data and secondary source of data. If it is published source, then research becomes very easy actually. And secondary data is available, but it is not published, and some people are sitting on it as if like this is their own property and they would not want to share it. So what do? You basically do chamchagiri to them. So you're a lot of effort, spending time to piece that. It's not supposed to be like that. And if you are working with the primary data, initially you build a model saying that I want to have a methodology. I will collect data on the basis of some random selection, random method technique. Then what happens? It's a very time consuming and you need a lot of money, and then eventually the researcher has to give up and transforms to convenience sampling. So very quickly random sampling is changed into convenience sampling. And then let's say, okay, finally they got the data as well. Then what is the next step? You have to know a software that is going to be useful in using your data for estimation techniques. And reading that software itself could be a couple of months job, could be 6 months job. It's a lot of time actually. It's reading another 3 credit or 4 credit. Okay, once you get the output, then what happens? You have lots of things, lots of output. Computer just throws garbage actually. And you as a researcher have to find out a pattern out of all that garbage. Find out what is reasonable and what is not reasonable. Find out the validity of your measurements and output. Find out reliability of your measurement. Find out robustness of your output. If it is sensitive to changes in variables, in data, etc. So you can imagine the whole process. Then what happens once the output is created? The biggest part is analyzing your data. And data analysis is a very complex job. And that is where we fumble. Because analyzing data would mean is looking at data from microscopic point of view, doing literature survey, trying to find out who has found what, and why your result makes sense and it doesn't make sense, and what is its implication, and where have you gone wrong, or what possibly could be wrong. Limitations in your research, that's very important actually. Because you have to tell the crowd and the audience that my research has a limitation, so that somebody can take it forward, try to rectify the limitation. So it's a long and tedious process. And our friends, team of researchers have gone through this whole tedious process. So now, what possibility of training MPhil and PhD in research skills? We provide courses in research skills. We have 3 or 4 trimester courses in research skills. So after understanding all of that one, they have to read tons of, and then finally come up with an idea and a problem, and that they have to find a research. So they have gone through this long, elongated process. It's a lot of hard work they have put. So I want to congratulate them again for this hard. As I said, that it's a research-oriented program because we want to develop research for the businesses, for the economy, and so on, so that at least that kind of manpower is available. I have to say is, when we are conducting research, we also put a lot of emphasis on ethics and values. We should not be falsely providing. We should keep our integrity with respect to data, not plagiarize. There are lots of things, lots of ethics, values go into the making of a research. Actually, what I want to say is, so research is a very difficult job. It's a very difficult job. Somebody who takes a research understanding is basically by himself or herself. It's a lonely. Whatever we can support, in whatever way we can support as a society, as intellectual, so on, we should be able to provide them some kind of support. If they are coming for if possible. And business houses, and we have a lot of work to do with the business houses because businesses have lots of problems. They need solutions for it. But they are their data sets that they don't want to divulge. They are afraid that this data can be misused to the next level. Then we need a lot of help from business community as well. Actually, I wish them well in their work to see these kind of seminars again and again. And having said that, say many thanks.
Today, we have the General Manager of Sujal Foods, Mr. Mahendra Shrestha, with experience in marketing, especially. So now I'd like to call him on stage to share a few words.
School
School of Management for collaborating this fantastic venue. Regarding myself, my name is Mahendra Shrestha. I live in Vasundhara, Kathmandu. Of course, I'm married and blessed with a lovely son. Regarding my professional career, I've been enjoying marketing practice since last 17 years. I'm the general manager of marketing since last 3 years in Sujal Foods, heading marketing of Sujal Foods since last 5 years. Now, before going into marketing practice and research, first of all, I would like to request all of you to understand it as an opinion and my confession that I have experienced over the years. And it is nothing against any groups, institutions, professionals, and the firms. Okay, I'll start with my company. I've been associated with Sujal Foods since last 14 years. Basically, we create happiness on whatever we do. It is a subsidiary of Lasmi Group. It's a diverse group of companies. We sell automobiles, we are into banking, we are into mobile phones, we are into various other industries. We offer a complete range of confectionery products all over Nepal since 1973. We are the #1 confectionery company with 40% market share. Company has new ideas, technologies, and production facilities and product development. We are exporting to neighboring countries like China and India. And we are doing indirect export to USA, Australia, Malaysia, and Middle East. Recently, we have acquired ISO 22000 and 9000 certification for food safety management. Now, getting into our marketing department, basically we have two functions at our marketing department. We do marketing campaigns and product development. In marketing campaigns, what we do is we create marketing plans, execution, control, and review. That's our major functions. The another function is we do concept development, and we do product prototyping and product launch and then review. The marketing plan composites of, we have got one separate brand managers to look into it, and we have got another brand managers to look after product development. We do various kind of research at Suzu. We do product sensory that comprises of product taste, looks, aroma, color, fun, and novelty. Another we do for our distribution track. We do product availability, visibility, accessibility, and market share, self-share, packaging trend, and new product trends. We also do primary research for market, comprises of consumer, product, market-based research in terms of their needs, wants, new trends, and competition. Follow up with that, we also do advertising release tracking. In reference to finalized schedule, we also do tracking of print, television commercials. We process syndicated data as well from private companies for the track of our SKU in comparison to competition. We do lots of focus group discussions. In focus group discussion, we do for prototyping, package design, and brand identity creations. Primarily, all the research sources are mostly done from internal marketing department. Few are procured from external research agency, and secondary data from CBS, Reserve Bank, Department of Industry, and private research companies. I don't want to explain a lot about marketing, importance of marketing research, because Professor has already explained a lot about that. But whatever I hope we know, because we are the doers, not the preachers. So whatever from our comprehensions, I'll try to explain a bit about it. We talk about product, we talk about product life cycle. So product life cycle at different stages requires different kind of resources. So we do conduct, whenever we, for the branding, for positioning, segmenting, repositioning, promotion tests, and market tests, we require the research. Apart from that, product or company may require various kind of research to overcome their problems and exploit opportunities. Research can anticipate challenges and provide remedies for the problems. Based on this marketing research and those information, we do marketing decisions. This is very important for us. Most of the marketing decisions are based on past experience and observation and gut feelings. This is what happening in Nepal since last so many years. Exercising decisions on those practices would lead us to accidents with huge loss in investment and expenses. Absence of research may kill the best ideas and pick the worst ideas. Due to the reason, most of the company in growing stage fall in the valley of death. In primitive stage. Its sister industry, we call it advertising agency, it's more than ₹1 billion of industry, whereas customized research are very expensive. Due to the limited secondary data and syndicated data, companies are compelled to spend large resources from where the company can save time and initiate research. Moving forward, due to the economic of scale, company can't afford to invest on separate marketing research team. Like our company still think that research is time consuming and expensive, though they spend huge amount of money in various marketing expenses. Moving forward to challenges.
Okay, professors, faculty, this session is presentation. Before we start with the podium. In all the presentation, some of the moderators like pronounce. So may I request for second slide of PT from websites. And this slogan, the meaning I derive is being written in English, confined in the books, if not shared to practice. So this is what our today's presentation. As already said, the scholars have already submitted papers. These cases in our library. I spoke as whatever being up for a long time. And then why don't we do the business practices as our respected guest? And a keynote page of 200 pages has been put down into 8 slides, more or less. That's why they are given 10 minutes time, then I will ring the bell. Once the bell is rung, and then the presenter has to stop. That is the discipline that we have taught them for so many years. When times, then stop talking. So, in the as customized, technical details will be avoided. Our Devi sir, acting dean of Kathmandu School of Management, has already talked a lot about how to do research, and then how to do research and what are the process being followed will not be presented. But you will have time if some from audience, if they have interest, and they can write particular questions addressing to the particular presenters. If they are interested in methodology, they may ask in the Q&A sessions. And then if Q&A sessions is not enough, we have networking sessions at the beginning of this program also. As well as if they are so much interested in the methodology, they can contact each person, each of presenters later on in time. Yeah, with these rules, then I want to give floor to our presenters. I will be inviting them one by one as per the schedule. So I will keep, because this smartphone is easy to see, to start the stopwatch, and then one person to stop when they exceed time. So let me invite first, as per our schedule, the effects of internet ads and attitude towards the ad by Mr. Suman Dahal, representing from Apex. Yeah.
From Kusum and from Soto, directors from different universities, and respected professors, teachers, my colleagues, and my friends, brothers, sisters, whoever present here. It's an opportunity for me and also for others to have a session like this. So the focus of today's program is to disseminate what I have learned throughout this ample process, that I call it, through a research process on this particular topic. Let me share on it. For me to grow, and then be in a position like this. Especially, I would like to thank Kusul and Bidari sir and the team and Vinod sir and my external supervisor, examiner, and so on. Talking about this particular topic, internet ads and attitude towards the ad. As Bidari sir rightly pointed, there must be an issue for any research to conduct. So being a engineering background and then doing a management studies later, I was always driven by technological thing, and then I always wanted to have a blend of technology in management. I suppose technology as a tool for management to happen smoothly and effectively. So on this regard, the uses of internet in Nepal is tremendously growing, and the seriousness that we have using internet services or internet as resources is not given a priority by many of us. The investment that we make and the time that we devote is very important, and it is a platform and a forum for all of us to use the uses of internet services. So Facebook, Twitter, or whenever they go to any websites, things they see in a sidebar are always revenue generation of Google and Yahoo. It is obvious that most of the revenue they get is from internet advertisements. So how we promote their products? Internet is being one of the pertinent and most. So to promote that, you see, and many research has been conducted taking this particular constructs, and the model has. So this is the trend that we can see the investment done in different countries regarding internet advertising. So this I have already told that the acceptance of internet advertisement is high everywhere, and even in Nepal, the service tax these companies pay to the government is significantly high. The payment made by ISPs or any other companies who are facilitating this kind of services. It means that users are increasing day by day. And this particular study is focused on the attributes on ad, and which particular attribute is to be taken by the designers, basically, while doing a database marketing, while promoting which age group to target and how this could happen. So the factors were studied, and the youths were taken as one of the prominent population to survey the data. Before distributing things, you see, only those respondents who were familiar to the internet ads were confirmed, so for the surety of the findings. The factors that were considered was the personalization, informativeness, interactivity, entertainment, irritation.
Accounts of the results of those advertisements, which advertisement worked and which didn't work. There's a popular saying all around the world that half of the advertising dollars are wasted, and the advertisers don't know which half is wasted and which half is worth. So same here in Nepal. We are spending so much money in advertising. Every year, the previous presenters have shown the graph, how the graph is climbing every year in advertisement. but people don't know its effects, what worked and what didn't work. And my study, my research, is a step forward to find out what works and what don't work in advertising regarding educational service print advertisement. In my study, I've tried to test the effectiveness of the ad in the form of number of applicant to the college. I have tested the effectiveness. I have tried to test the effectiveness of the ad in the form of number of applicant to the college. If the number of applicant is increased, ad is effective. If number of applicant is not increasing, the ad is not working. So I have tried to measure the effectiveness in the form of number of applicants, and I have tested 8 elements of ad. I have tested 8 elements of the ad. One is physical representation. Physical representation means in the advertisement, we see college building, we see playing field, we see interior, exterior, all physical environment is presented on the advertisement. Does it work? Second thing I have tested is endorsement. Somebody, the celebrity, the Raya Samaj is endorsing one college, other is on, or some academician are endorsing the colleges. Does those endorsements in the advertisement work? Or the past performance, the past results and achievement of the colleges mentioned in the advertisement, does it increase the number of applicants? Or the emotional appeal used in the ad? Or even the testimonials, the students' statements, their testimonials about their college, does it attract the students to increase the number of applicants? And image portray about the college, okay, the image, what this college stands for, what it produces. Sometimes the college try to portray the image of the college in the form of ad through the various persons, objects, and variety of things. They try to portray the image of the college. Those the portraying image increase the number of applicants. And finally, 2 more things I have tested is whether increasing the overall size of the ad increase the number of applicants, or whether repetition of the advertisement, frequently advertising, increase the number of applicants. These things I have tested in my research. And method I use is I measured all those 8 elements I tested through the ruler. The proportion space occupied by each of these elements in the advertisement. And I try to see its effect. If the proportion occupied by each of these elements is increased, number of applicants is increased.
So Vinod has just introduced me. I think my introduction is not required. So I would like to directly go to my presentation. My topic is formation of brand equity in smartphones. How the brand equity is formed. So smartphone market, I believe that everyone in this hall holds a smartphone. And it's a very rapidly changing industry with a huge amount of technological innovation is occurring. Some data in Nepal show that 50% of the people holds a smartphone. This data has been obtained from some of the telecommunications networks. So there is even an opportunity of 50% to scatter the market. 50% use bar phone and feature phone, and they are shifting from the bar phone and feature phone to the smartphones. The market is very, very competitive as well, and there is an opportunity as well. In terms of Nepal, the smartphone is also pioneered in Nepal, and the competition has also been very intense in Nepal as well. What is brand? Brand is something that customer responds differently to a product, and the value of that brand is called the brand equity. In this research, the brand equity means the brand preference. Brand preference means that I prefer the brand as compared to other brands. That's called brand preference. Brand loyalty. I am loyal to the brand. I recommend this brand to other people, my friends, relatives. This is called the brand loyalty. Brand repurchase intention is something I'm going to buy the same brand again and again. This is called the repurchase intention. So these 3 terms comprises of the brand equity in this research. And this brand equity has been a very crucial topic now. And every marketing manager, they need to focus on brand equity because the market has become so intense. The competition has become so intense that it has become very essential prerequisite for any marketing managers to work on the brand equity. And this smartphone is not an exception. Therefore, in a very competitive environment, in a very rapid environment,
So we need to know how the brand equity is formed in the smartphone in order to revise a marketing and promotional strategy. It's very, very required. Moving forward, what has been studied? These studies identify the brand equity, how the brand equity is formed, and what are the factors that plays a role in creating the brand equity. And it has been studied in the two phases. The corresponding factors are brand dimensions and marketing program. What do the brand dimensions consist of? Brand awareness. It's called the recall, recognition, and brand knowledge. It's called the brand awareness. Perceived quality. The quality perception of the consumers or users. Whether the quality is good, excellent, reliable, that is called the perceived quality. Third is called the perceived value. Perceived value is the value propositions that the consumer is getting as compared to the price they have paid for it. The value propositions is called the brand value. And fourth is called the brand image. Brand image means that it's a trust to the brand. So using this brand is a pride to me. It's a brand trust. It's called the brand image. So brand image consists of brand pride and brand trust. And the marketing program includes the product features and promotion. The product basically communicate your product as a cheap product because it's not going to create a brand image as well. So I do have one slide. I just want to tally my presentation, my basically research with some of the advertisement campaign that is being broadcasted in our neighboring countries, how they have communicated, what they have communicated. So just have a look.
Brands exposure on Nepali retail stores, that is their purchase intentions. So before moving to the presentation, I'd like to ask, have you seen Barbadini cornflakes or Big Mart dal? I think there's a mixed reaction in the audience.
Yes, we have.
Okay. So, all you have seen are known as private label brands. They are basically created, controlled, and promoted by the retailers. So that's the distinction they make in respect to national brands. So, it has been evolved long back in United Kingdom by Sainsbury, and it has recently come to our country. So, why do we need to study private label brands? So, it's fundamentally for two reasons. One, there is a huge growth of organized retail stores in the country. If you name few, that is Barbadini, Big Mart, Selware, CG Mart, KK Mart, and it's evolving. There's a long list, and if you see their plans, they are in ever expanding spree. And with that expansion of retail chains, there's opportunities to sell their own products with higher gross margin. So it can leverage the retailers. So what did I study? Basically, I studied a simple thing, that is consumers' exposure to private label brands through self-display, encourage their purchase intentions of those brands or not. Basically, I want to explore that simple question. So, in that regard, I have checked the attributes of PLB exposures and its effect to PLB awareness, perceived risks in terms of physical risks and financial risks, which basically related to the grocery items in the PLB category, and their perception of in-store exchange queues, that is the location of PLBs
at their store and the packaging of PLBs. And I have studied the relationship at two layers, that is eventually the effect to attitude and to the purchase intentions. So in this process, I adopted natural experimental method. Unlike lab experimental method, natural experimental method don't control treatment variables. So it look into or where the experiment done in a natural way. And in that process, I have 200 customers in the Kathmandu Valley who were exposed to higher PLB intentions or exposures and low PLB exposures. So finally, what did I got? I found that PLB exposures, higher PLB exposure increases PLB awareness. Similarly, PLB exposures decrease perceived risks of customers towards PLBs. In contrast, the in-store extended cues, that is PLB packaging, perception, and PLB location perception, is independent of the level of PLB exposure. Whether you have high PLB exposure or if you have low PLB exposure, it doesn't make a difference on that attribute. And next, I found that PLB awareness, perceived risks, and in-store extended cues have significant relationship with attitude of customer towards the PLB.
Consumer socialization and how it affects the decision-making process. So first of all, we have to understand what exactly consumer socialization is, because it is a typical jargon in marketing. Consumer socialization is a process of young children understanding, getting knowledge, skills, and attitudes so that they can function as a consumer when they grow up in the marketplace. So it is one of the subdivisions of consumer behavior, and it generally talks about, it focuses on making and understanding the behavior of children and adolescents so that we can generally understand what kind of behavior they are going to show when they're grown up, how they are going to function as consumers when they grow up. So the logic behind the research is that, firstly, we do not see much studies on children, and consumer socialization is the emerging concept here in Nepal. Of course, it has been used a lot by advertisers, and it has been used by organizations and marketers to promote their products, but we still do not see much being done in this field. So the first is it really helping the marketers? Is it really giving much to the organizations? Second thing is, children have their own segment. And because we're very much emotionally attached with the children, what we see is children also have some kind of positive impact upon what kind of consumption is done by the family. So they are major influencers in the family consumption also. And normally what we understand is, to develop marketing mixes, we have to understand how children can be used and how children can be helpful. So to understand these things and to understand who are behind the consumer socialization, the topic was chosen. Now, talking about the objectives, for the research, we saw 5 consumer socialization agents, and by agents we're talking about the factors that help or that influence, that affect the consumer socialization process. So we saw parents, the role of parents, the role of friends, the role of television, the role of shops, and the role of brands in influencing the consumer socialization as a process. And the second thing that we are trying to understand, and the finding of this research gives us an insight about who or what kind of factors affect the decision making, the purchase decision making of the children. Basically, the school-going children, because if we look at the method, we are talking about school-going children because we are talking about children, we are talking about adolescents, we are talking about children who are schoolgoers. So we took 384 schoolgoers who are aged between 7 to 16 for the research, and they are taken from 18 different schools. And for the research, the tool that was used is SPSS, and SPSS 18 was used for the analysis of the data for the customers. So what I want to talk about the findings is that parents, of course, we understand, we feel that parents are going to be the foremost, the most important socialization agents, and the finding came exactly that. Parents are considered as one of the most important aspects, and they are considered as one of the most important factors in influencing the consumer socialization. Then came shops, and then came brands. We think that friends and televisions have a very huge impact on the children, but here in Kathmandu, what we came to know that is friends, of course, they have television, of course, they have some kind of impact, but the impact was very low, lesser than shops and lesser than brands also. The second finding was consumer socialization differs between the genders. So consumer socialization is more amongst the girls than the boys. So consumer socialization is more impactful to the girls than the boys, it was seen, but age did not matter. So all the age groups from 7 to 16, they were influenced in the same way. So before going into the decision making, there are three concepts that I would like to clarify. The first is the concept of utilitarian decision making. The utilitarian decision making talks about value and benefit analysis. We talk about giving superior value or benefit to the consumers and how.
Slide transitions. But in research seminar, this kind of only the text are there, the presentations are not interesting. I would like to thank Ramesh ji, he has at least brought one video, brought Deepika Padukone to all of us, along with the hero. So my presentation is also not very colorful and interesting one, but again a difficult topic and some scholarly words also. Pluralistic approach, customer defections, very difficult word I come forward while doing the research. Normally defection in the business profession, the consumer come into the last stage to cancel the relationship with the service provider. That is the defection. Normally the defection comes with one more word, the churn. Customer defection and customer churn. In churn also, customers cancel the relationship with the customers, service provider. But in churn, the customer can again come to the same service provider. If you are watching IPL at this time, you may see the ad of Airtel. That advertisement is about the churn. Last time I bought the Airtel, I switched to Medin. I again came to the same, that is the churn. But in customer defection, the customer permanently cancels the service with the service provider. So my topic is the customer defections. And looking at the types, the customer defections are of two types. One is the voluntary, another is the involuntary. Voluntary means the subscriber cancels the relationship with the service provider in his own side, and involuntary, the service providers push back to the customer due to the different reasons. Maybe due to the account reason or administrative reason. If you are buying a service and you are not paying to the service provider, he may cancel your service. That's the involuntary defections. So why we need to analyze the lost customers? The defection analysis is about the lost customers. Why we need to study this is the significance of studying the lost customers or defection customers is the customer, what we have already lost, they hold the meaningful information regarding our business. So this is like in manufacturing industry, we do it like scrap analysis. They're looking some precious thing from the body. So step analysis, defection analysis is the looking some meaningful information from the customer that we have already lost, that we can revive the business by getting some information and knowledge from the lost customers. So there is a meaning, there is an importance that we can study the defection analysis and get some takeaway for our business. So can we measure the defection rates? Can we measure how the customers we are losing? So is it measurable? Is it meaningful? That is the questions. And what we have done, what I have done while doing the defection analysis is, I didn't use the survey or another thing to study the defection analysis. I used the secondary data. I used the lost customers data from that. Those customers were acquired from 2003 to 2008. The 5 years customers were acquired, and those customers were tracked up to 2015. And these customers' data has been taken from the data warehouse of the company, and their cancellations pattern has been studied. And this has been studied using the duration analysis. Sometimes it is also called the survival analysis also. Normally this research method has been adopted in the medical science to predict the probability of survival of the cancer patient or some other patients. If I'm infected with some disease, how long I'm going to survive it? So normally this research is being in medical science. Now same research, same methodologies that we can use in marketing also. So the research shows that in an average, the 50% customers cancel their subscription. In my research context, with the fixed telephone customers is 2,159 days. So in this period, in 4.3 years of time, the 50% customers the company has acquired have already lost. So one finding is that. So does it meaningful, or does it make sense anything, this finding? So when we have gone through the many literatures, in an average in United States, the average customer life period is 5 years. And the similar study was done in Portugal also, and they found the 3.5 years. So the average customers that we are having in service industry, they are going to survive up to 4 to 5 years. So customer defection is unavoidable, but that can be minimized. And with this research, what we have used is the parameters. Can we use some parameters of our interest, why they are going to defect? So I took one parameter by analyzing secondary data. I found the migrant status and non-migrant status. So migrant customers were found to be defect early than the non-migrants one. The customers who are migrated from, who have come to Kathmandu Valley from another districts, they took the subscription and they defect early than the customers, they have subscribed the service from Kathmandu itself. And one more parameter I have tested in defection analysis is with respect to the season of customer acquisitions. If you can see that, look into the papers, there are a lot of advertisements. The advertisements normally attract customers for the customer acquisitions. So, do the customer acquire in the festival season or any other natural season, how long they are going to survive it? So, this research found that the customers acquired in the autumn season and this.
The presentation is actually over now. Then now to start the question and answer. Then we plan to collect the questions in the sheet of 30 minutes now, and we can say 15 minutes. But if there are a lot of questions, it's fine. Okay, and then while we are waiting for questions, may I invite all the presenters to be in the dais? Okay. Yeah, so we instance is from Sotam Sherpa from Sagarmatha Indian College, addressing to second presenter about print advertisement practice in Higher Education Institute. The question is, would efficiency of purchasing into traditional approach is justifiable when people are more driven by self-marketing? Digital marketing lately, you can try.
Justifiable when people are more driven by terms of digital marketing lately.
He is working for National Open College, and the question is, his concern on the question is how the survey was done among 300 internet users and how attitude was measured or judged. Let me clarify this. The survey method that I did was convenience sampling, and in the questionnaire, out of many questions, one of the questions was to confirm whether that particular respondent is familiar with the internet ad or not. And the question was given to that particular person, who was familiar with the internet advertising thing. And not only that, followed by that particular question, I also asked that respondent to mention the particular ad that he was gone through while browsing internet, in his profile, social sites or whatever. And also the documentation was done on that particular 8 types. And talking about the attitude, attitude was not only the construct in the model, it was one of the models, one of the constructs in the model. And like other construct, I measured with the items. There were items on these particular constructs, and these items were taken from the literature with proper reliability and validity thing, and it was measured in that way. And these items were fitted on the model using
institutions of India, for example. I come from IIT, so so the IIT, like my institution, hosting a website, web portal, it somehow remodels the organization, focusing into more on the value chain. Okay, this is the management floor. So it's basically the value chain and value-added services delivery. Evolving more. For example, startup companies. For example, innovations. And a lot of lectures delivered through YouTube channel, not only by the professors, but by, students have very good access to the Coursera and MIT, Stanford lectures. So students come to the class, listening to those lectures, and teachers shifting more towards innovation. So these are the things. I come from. I got retired from Institute of Engineering. Okay, so for example, let's say IOM, Medical College, IOE could have been a role model to come forward, and even maybe KU, etc. So from that perspective, I was just thinking. So I wrote this suggestion, a part of question, in your respondent to be covered in your research work. So this is my suggestion.
The question is, have you followed the Koch's proportional hazard model? My answer is, normally when I have gone through the methodologies in division model, normally parametric and non-parametric models are there. This Koch's proportional hazard model is a slightly older one. I used the parametric model, which is called the Weibull parametric model. So I didn't didn't use the Cokes. That is slightly taken as an older model. That is, normally the reason is the Cokes model, proportional older model, covers the variation due to only one environmental factors. But the Weibull parameter models analyze the variations from the internal factor as well as the external factor. Two causes of variations are covered with the parametric model. So I used the Weibull model, I didn't use the Cokes model. So another question is Bimal Guru from DAV. The question is, what are the probable methodology used to measure customer defections? Why only probabilistic approach? My answer is the probabilistic approach, the term is the holistic one. Actually, I use the survivor analysis model, which is normally taken as a duration model also. And this is also one of the probabilistic approach among many. Why I use the probabilistic approach? The reason is normally in this time, and the trend is to do the research with the big data, not with the go to the field, collect few samples, or collect some data and analyze, or collect some 10 years data, or 5 years data, some panel data. Because IT has enabled us to collect the millions and billions of data. There is a trend in the developed countries to use the data from the data warehouse, to use the billions of customers' data and to analyze with the sophisticated econometric models. So I use the big data available in our country. So I use the data of 48,000 plus customers. And to analyze the customer defection, why you use this probabilistic model and what are other models? The other models are to analyze the defection analysis. One of the most popular models that normally the business people are using is the complaint analysis or the grievances analysis. What the customers are complaining about your services, those complaints are normally tracked, they are recorded, they are analyzed, and
plunging into a traditional approach is justifiable when people are driven by the charm of digital marketing lately. Yes, the question is not exactly related to my paper, but partially it's, I just like to try to answer the question. Of course, the marketing is inspired by consumers, and as you already mentioned, people are attracted to the digital marketing and the charm of digital marketing lately. Definitely, the digital marketing is more effective than traditional forms of advertising and marketing, as it is very much visible. Everything is launched in Facebook now. So Facebook has become very popular, and so it's been one of the medium of promotion. So definitely the digital marketing is more preferable than traditional marketing. And another question I have from Dr. Gopal Thapa from Tribhuvan University, Nepal Commerce Campus. And his question is, why did you measure space occupied by ad? Why did you measure square? Why did you measure the space occupied by the ad in square centimeter rather than column per cm? Rather than cc, why you measured in square centimeter? My answer is yes, definitely I used square centimeter. The practice of measuring ad is cc in cc, but I didn't actually measure the overall size of the ad. I measured the component of the ad. I measured the small component within the ad, variety of small component within the ad, which is very small, frequently measured in a column. So I have to take the smaller unit, that is centimeter. That's my answer. And third is, I have a question from Tanta Prasad Neopani. His question is, endorsement, not so important in my qualitative study, but I have shown endorsement was important in my quantitative study. When I did there's a contradiction, he says. Yes, he's right. When I did the study in the advertisement, actually there was no endorsement used. Actually, the endorsement is not, I cannot say that endorsement is not useful in my quantitative study because I mentioned there's no use of endorsement. I didn't say that endorsement is not effective. I said endorsement is not used in Nepalese print advertisement practices. That's what I mentioned. Otherwise, definitely I agree to you that endorsement is very important, especially in service business. When the product is difficult to evaluate, and they don't believe on the company, they believe on the customer who have used that product, and their word of mouth, and their testimonials, and somebody, some expert who talk about that product in the form of endorsement is very effective. Thank you. And finally, the fourth.
Professor Dr. M.R. Chetri, and he's from National Open College. The question is, usually decision making by children is not done by socialization but by emotional blackmail or propaganda. Do you agree? And similarly, I have another question by Professor Dr. Vishnu Khanal, and this also is similar to the first question, so I think it would be better if we merge the questions. The question is, children's role in developed countries is crucial and important to influence their parents. They point out things they like to buy and parents cannot refuse to buy because they weep and force them to buy. Parents should buy what they want to buy. Do you not agree that their role is important also? So firstly, I feel that we have kids ourselves and we understand how desperate we become at times, what tantrums children throw to us, and what are some of the things that we actually have to face. We all have faced that, and I think the question came because of that reason. Of course children weep, of course children throw tantrums, they create a havoc also. They do. We all have witnessed it, and if we haven't till this time, I am pretty sure that we are going to face that at a time or another. But it does not mean that we do not take them to shopping. It does not mean that we make them consumer literate. If we take children to shopping, then they are going to understand how they can become good consumers. So by being a good consumers, here what we are trying to say here is they learn how to bargain, they learn how to use money, they learn how to use cards, the various cards, the plastics that we use these days. They also understand how we can understand what is superior and what is inferior. They understand various things. So what we face is some people, they do not go shopping because they fear shopping. And if we take children shopping, they understand the know-hows of being a consumer when they at least grow up in their life. So of course children are children, they are going to create tantrums, they are going to do that. We cannot be safe from that. They are going to do that, okay. But then we have some responsibilities as parents towards our children so that we can make at least consumer literate. So that is what I feel. Even if propagandas are created by children, we have our role, and our role should be fulfilled as parents and as other socialization agents. The next question I got is from you, Sharma, and the person is from National Open College. The question is, if you could mention name of schools, it would be more effective. How did you decide to take 384 samples? Make it clear. So talk
research, what is the major reason to switch the brand in smartphones? As I really, in the presentation I mentioned that the brand image is not only the sufficient condition for creating a loyalty or repurchase. So we need to basically make the consumers prefer the brand. Are we doing that? The research finds that we need to make the consumers prefer. Are the advertising campaigns, are the promotion campaigns made in such a way that are we making them prefer the brand? So we need to make it. And how to make them prefer the brand is the next research topic to be explored. What type of strategy need to devise for making the consumers prefer the smartphones? That is the next resource gap. So this is the first answer. Second, if the two mobile phones, Samsung SG and Huawei P20, if they are of the same quality, which do I prefer? Which do you prefer as well? It's not only the product quality that matters, but it's also the promotion. What type of promotion campaign are you doing? are you designing the promotion campaigns focusing and making aware of the product quality? We said that product quality is very essential, but the advertisement, promotion are making the same way. It's not only the product features matter, but that vast number of factors, as suggested in our research, promotion also plays a very big role. This is the second. Third from Rupesh Kumar Mandal from National Open College. I think does trust associate with brand? Yes, obviously. The brand trust is one of the sub-items of brand image which has been taken into consideration in this research as well. And the second question from Mr. Rupesh Kumar Mandal, does quality assurance should be concluded by the branding? Yes, obviously. As we found that quality plays a major role in creating the brand image and brand equity as well. And it has been proven in this research as well. So it's a product quality and product quality assurance is very, very essential for creating a brand equity as well. And thirdly, consumer buying behavior associated with the branding. Obviously, not every product, not every industry is similar in nature. In this research, we found that the brand of the product, the image of the product is not only sufficient for creating for consumer buying decisions. The preference is also playing a very great role. So we need to make consumer prefer the brand. That's why in this research as well, so not all the industry are similar in nature. Every industry is different. That's why we need to basically make an industry-wise assessment, and we found that in this research, image is not only sufficient for creating a loyalty and repurchase.
Speaker. So may I invite you, sir?
Research, not much focus on women marketing. Instead of traditional approach of marketing, focus should be made on women, as women are the decisive factors, with the concept of woman as a goddess. Your comments. Okay, thank you for the question.
The shoes, I can't say, hello mom, why don't you help me buy a shoes? Okay, or if it's a lipstick or high heels, definitely I'm going to talk to her. And for so many years. So it's not like that we are not mothers and women from marketing approach. They are there. If they fall into our STP, definitely.
Presenters, thank you for that. And some of the assumptions and observations were also there. Yeah, that also shows the curiosity of the audience. We are very happy. On behalf of presenters, I would like to thank the audience as well. And then finally, I hope that what you are being presented here would be accepted not as it is, but findings as well. Yeah, with this, I would like to close the presentation sessions and then hand over the mic to our MC.
In the sense that researchers have got the opportunity to present their findings, include that showed way for us how these marketing researches could be conducted. Plus, what are the pertinent issues in the plate market? I have been asked to do the job of commenting, which personally I find a little bit difficult. Because for many, both at KUSUM and Faculty of Management, I have provided comments or asked questions in many of these presentations. So doing it again could raise the academic validity and many other issues. But ignoring them, I'm once again going to comment where it is not only the comments, but rather would be the research issues for the future as well. Okay, so I will go by paper. First, Suman Dahal's paper was interesting in the sense that Internet Act. Today, there have been even the questions about the shift from traditional to the modern by using the ICT and all these kinds of things to promote your products. All these things are going to happen and are going to happen much more seriously tomorrow, for which probably it will replace the entire traditional advertisement despite the fact that these ads, the traditional mechanism or in totality marketing, has proved as one of the most powerful forces that the management science has. So, he was raising basically the personalized internet ad and how to make it acceptable to all the masses. One, how to make them see it. These are 2 or 3 very, very pertinent issues. Methodology very robust. Sample size, personally, I would like to see a little bit more to make it fully representative. But since Devi Bidari must have gone through it, I take it as fully acceptable. And he's talking about a very important issue, that is, in the world of internet, for example, Facebook is the largest virtual country today, which is way bigger than the traditional countries. In that kind of a scenario, the only way to attract the viewers, make it read, is making them personalized. So the concept brought, the problem issue is very pertinent, but the 2 questions still would remain, and I would like to conclude my comments here with these 2 questions. In 2 to 3 billion plus kind of countries, how to really make them personalized will still be a question. How to make the viewers look at these, how not to make them skip is going to be the case. And he has also suggested to make it less irritating, probably some exact actions to reduce his irritations would have been welcome. But wonderful work. Thank you for your sharing your knowledge.
6 presentations, presented by various individuals were pretty appreciable. And I would like to give you some, corporate perspective on market research. If you see, the market research for us is, if something is actionable, then that's good for us. We don't really do the research just for the sake of doing research. Actually, nobody does that, but don't take it otherwise. The point I'm mentioning this here is, I think one of the presenters have also mentioned that in the very first slide, somebody, Chanakya's slope or something like that, academicians will provide the knowledge and then the practicing managers will implement or action. In my language, we say that any knowledge without, if it's not actionable, is just like, as good as not having a knowledge. So, we corporatize are probably the people to implement the knowledge that the academicians like you, derive, or some theory comes in, you observe the practices and you derive a theory. So we discuss in the corporate boardroom that, oh, this is too theoretical. Now I've faced this situation many times, or I might have told my team many times, oh, this is very theoretical, boy, it doesn't work, Then again, I tell myself, what is theory and what is practice? I see a very thin line between the theory and the practice. And I tell them that theory is not a theory. What is theory? Theory is a theory some wise academicians must have observed our practices and tried to put it in a simplified form to make corporate guys like us understand it. Simplify that, wise guys seeing our practices and they make it in a structured way so that people like us can understand. And then theory doesn't work, then the bosses will challenge. No, it doesn't work, it's theory, because theory's got the assumptions. We fail to understand the assumptions. The simple theory like law of demand, somebody has told me that you've increased the price thrice, the demand is going up. Boy, that's the first theory we learned in the university or the college. I say it's got a lot of assumptions. If everything remains same, which in the practical world, nothing remains same. Time is changing, my preference is changing, my age is changing, the world is changing, competitive landscape is changing. All right, let me move ahead with the 6 presentations. I would not like to comment anything on our technicalities or those nitty-gritties of research. I would just like to touch it from the corporate perspective. All 6 presentations were really commendable. I was impressed with the kind of efforts and the presentations and the findings which was presented this afternoon. The first presentation by Mr. Suman Dahal on a digital media. Again, the knowledge, mere knowledge doesn't work. The academicians will provide knowledge, and we managers are the agent to action it or implement it so that the world gets the benefit of the knowledge. And here, he in the one of the slides that he presented, interesting or boring. Some content is interesting and something is boring. And the personalized digital media. I would like to touch this keynote speaker, Mahendra has also mentioned about STP approach. I know that my professors have taught me 25 years back, so I should not be mentioning about this STP approach. Why this digital personalized thing is possible in digital media is, if it's a Kantipur, Kantipur goes to a ACCD guy also in that ACC pyramid, and it goes to the ACC A plus also. So you cannot personalize the message in traditional media. If it is a digital, personalized internet advertising, the one reason that I see why this internet, or we call it digital media, emerging media, why this digital media is so popular is you can really target your core TG. If it is Facebook, as some of the presenters have mentioned about Facebook, I can just reach the person that I want. I know the Facebook knows this guy is going to read newspaper at 6 in the morning. So 6 o'clock, when he opens the Facebook, so some newspaper thing can pop out in his profile or next to his profile. And there's another guy who's going to who's done 3-car trials, 4-wheeler trial. He knows. He's the guy to reach for the 4-wheeler advertisement, which probably the traditional media cannot do. So I'll move to the next presenter. In the digital front, personalized media, it becomes cost effective because you can really reach your TG very, very precisely. If I have to advertise my real juice, I advertise in Kantipur front page, it costs me a hell of a lot of money, but 80% of the readers might not be interested in juice. But I can reach the people who are only interested in my juice. So one of the reasons why digital media is emerging and we call it cost effective is because it can categorically reach your desired audience or target group, we call it. So let me go to the second presentation by Mr. Sushil Awale, effectiveness on the print advertisement. I'll just touch a few points here. He's mentioned a very good point about we call it the size versus frequency, and his research has found that size is very, very effective than the frequency. That's a debatable thing, but I do personally agree that size is very, very effective. For that, I can give you the example. If you just see the print ad, you have made that research on the educational institute's perspective, but any category or any profile, you just might disagree, but I'll give you the trend. You see these days, every day or every next day you have a jacket page in the newspaper. Jacket page is that the first page, whole page, and inside page as well. I don't know how much of you know Kantipur would charge for that jacket page. I can tell you, in the informal session outside, that's pretty expensive. But 5 years back or 10 years back, we hardly used to see any jacket page. We used to see maximum 100 cc in the front page. Jacket page has emerged. It has emerged in the outside Nepal also, and it has come to Nepal. Today, probably out of 365 days, I would say at least 65 or 100 plus days would be the jacket page. So that's that people are real.
It is my great pleasure and privilege to be here as one of the partner institute Tribhuvan University. So I do not want to diagnose this because Professor Bajracharya has already done the micro-analysis of the different paper. First of all, I would like to congratulate to all the 6 paper presentators. So what I do believe that resource is limited, creativity is unlimited. So if you see the international practices, normally creativity is based on the innovation, and innovation can be generated through the research. So therefore, and this type of the program definitely will increase the mileage of the academician as well as the practitioner if you see the practices of some of the Nepalese institution, Nepalese university, and still we are making the approach like a teaching-based university rather than the research-based university. Because if you see even in the international practices, normally we need to customize, we need to give more focus to the research-based university so that we can better disseminate the research finding to the corporate sectors. And even we need more about the dialogue and collaboration between the academician and the practitioner. Even we need to develop this such type of the research-based culture in the university also. So definitely this type of the program, but however this program is basically focused and customized on the seminar in the marketing research. And even marketing, more than 83% world economy is captured by marketing. And even if you see the top 10 companies, they have invested very huge amount in the research and development. And do you find that the Nepalese company, they have a research culture, they have a different research and development activities? How far we academicians contribute for the research and how we are able to disseminate this type of the research finding to the corporate sector also. And this type of the programs definitely will contribute in disseminating the research finding. I agree with the Avant Prasad Gorkhali sir argument that yes, really while conducting the academic research also, this type of the research, we need to have to mechanize some of the research metaphor, and therefore we can better understandable and communicable to the research findings so that practitioner and corporate sector, they better understand the findings with the linkage of the theory. And therefore, in this knowledge-based society, definitely disseminating such type of the research finding will contribute. And let's join hand together as one of the partner institute, Faculty of Management, Tribhuvan University. We are very much committed to make involved to our research scholar in the recent areas of the marketing and other contemporary areas of the management also. And so with this, I would like to thank to the Mahendra Shrestha, Avant Prasad Gorkhali, special thank to the Professor Dr. Pushkar Bajracharya sir, Vinod Krishna Shrestha sir,